Welcome to the topic on the credit information file. A transcript of the slideshow can be downloaded from the course page. Stop the film when you need to take notes or to return to the course. You may return to the film as often as you need to. Credit reporting is governed by Part 3A of the Privacy Act 1998 and the Credit Reporting Privacy Code, commonly called the CR Code. Credit reporting refers to the compilation and maintenance of information about a consumer's credit history. Vader Advantage and Dun & Bradstreet are the two main credit reporting agencies that compile and maintain credit information files. A credit information file is more commonly called a credit file. Most consumers who have obtained credit in the past will have a credit file. A credit file contains information which can be used by credit providers to assist them in assessing applications for credit. The credit file can also be used by debt collectors to locate a missing debtor. How can I get a copy of my credit file? All consumers have the right to obtain a free copy of their credit file. A direct request can be made to Vader Advantage or Dun & Bradstreet, and it should be sent out within 10 working days. Alternatively, Vader Advantage or Dun & Bradstreet provide quicker access to the credit files upon payment of the requisite fees. A credit information file includes the following personal information: full name, date of birth, driver's license, gender, residential addresses, and your last known employer. The credit information that can be listed on your credit file includes credit applications made in the past 5 years relating to loans for household, personal, or domestic purposes, the status of a credit account, the date it was open, and, if closed, the date it was closed, and the credit limit on the account, details of overdue consumer credit accounts, a 24-month repayment history, credit inquiries pertaining to applications for credit for commercial purposes, details of overdue commercial credit accounts, court judgments and court writs, directorship details, proprietorship details, and bankruptcy information. Default listings. Before a credit provider can list a default, it must wait 60 days from the date that the payment was due, and write to the debtor at their last known address and advise them of the overdue payment and request a payment of the outstanding amount. If the overdue payment is still not paid, the credit provider can list a default on the credit file. Repayment history. As of March 2014, a credit file may include a 24-month history of all repayments made under a credit contract. From this history, credit providers will be able to view past loan payments and can identify if any late payments have been made. This history will also show how a consumer has rectified any previous defaults, i.e., increased payment the following month. Note that this repayment history has been collected as of the 12th of December 2012. Stop the film here. Section 18F of the Privacy Act specifies the maximum permissible period that information can be listed before being automatically removed. Please note that while the status of bankruptcy generally lasts for a period of 3 years, it can be extended in certain circumstances. Also, there is a permanent record of your bankruptcy on the National Personal Insolvency Index, which is an electronic public register which can be accessed by anyone for a fee. Listing paid in full. The credit provider does not have to remove the default listing from the debtor's credit file even when the debt is paid in full. If the listing is paid in full, upon the debtor's request, the listing must be updated to state paid in full. Statement on a credit file. Where the debtor has requested to a credit reporting agency to amend the credit file and the credit provider has declined to do so, the debtor can place a statement on their credit file stating that the listing is in dispute. Section 18J(2) of the Privacy Act 1988 creates a legal right for the consumer to request a statement to be included in his or her credit information file or credit report. The credit reporting agency must take reasonable steps to have the statement included on the debtor's credit file within 30 days. However, If the credit reporting agency considers the statement to be unduly long, the credit agency may, within 30 days of the request, refer the statement to the Privacy Commissioner with a shortened version of the statement. Removing a statement. Where an individual has requested their statement to be removed from their credit file, the credit reporting agency must remove the statement. Disputing a listing. When disputing the validity of a listing, an individual should first contact the credit provider's IDR department directly. If they are not happy with the credit provider's response, they have several options open to them, depending on when the listing was made. Disputes made prior to March 12, 2014. If not resolved at IDR, a dispute can then be lodged with one of the credit reporters. The reporters will then assess the validity of the listing, and if there are no appropriate grounds for making the listing, it will be removed. Complaints can also be made to OAIC about the conduct of the credit provider and the credit reporter. Disputes made after March 12, 2014. From March 12, 2014, all credit providers who record listings on a credit file must be members of a recognised EDR scheme. Should a dispute be unresolved at IDR, a further dispute can be made to the appropriate EDR scheme. Complaints can also be made to OAIC about the conduct of the credit provider and of the credit reporter. Stop the film here and return to the course page and open the attached table, Updating the Credit File. A credit file can be updated to reflect new information about the debtor. The following table illustrates the length of time VEDA requires. Credit files and statute-barred debts. Paragraph 20.6 of the Credit Reporting Privacy Code states that on an individual's request, a credit reporting agency must destroy default information about a statute-barred debt. Go back to the course and complete the short quiz to consolidate your knowledge.